Hey guys, welcome back to question 1, which is chapter 1 of Saving Your Marriage Before It Starts, and I'm excited to read it to us. If you made it to this point, congratulations, because you're about to hear things that you've never heard before. So the chapter 1 is the chapters on this book are in form of questions, and the first question, that's the question 1, is titled, "Have you faced the myth of marriage with honesty?" We have been poisoned by fairy tale, like I said. We have. Okay, so chapter 1, Tom and Laura, which are going to be our case study for here, came to see us just 9 months after their wedding. They had swallowed the happily ever after myth whole. They have swallowed the happily ever after myth whole, and were now feeling queasy. Before we got married, we couldn't bear to be apart from one another. Okay, Laura confided. We did almost everything together and thought that is how it would be in our marriage. Even more so, yeah, right? Because now you see the person every day. It should be more so, right? Laura is not wrong to feel that. It's not wrong to feel that way. Yeah. She paused for a moment, but now Tom needs more space. Tom is her husband. It seems like he's not the guy I married. Tom rolled his eyes as Laura continued. He used to be so considerate and thoughtful before we were married. Oh, and I'm a total slouch now? Tom interrupted. Of course not. You, or maybe we, are just different now, Laura answered, nervously twisting his wedding bands. Tom looked at Laura. Marriage isn't what I expected either, Tom said. I didn't expect it to be a big honeymoon or anything. I just thought you would try to make life a little easier for me, Tom said. Instead, when I come home from the office, all you want to do is go out. I make dinner every night for you, Laura interrupted. Surprised by their display of unrestrained emotions in front of us, they stopped silent and looked to us as if to say, see, our marriage isn't what it's supposed to be. Tom and Laura entered their marriage believing that happiness would abound. They had heard that marriage was hard work, but they didn't expect it to be a 24-hour, 7 days a week job. They believe in a happily ever after marriage is one of the most widely held and destructive marriage myths. But it is only the tip of the marital myth iceberg. Every difficult marriage is plagued by a vast assortment of misconceptions about what marriage should be. In this chapter, however, we consider only those ideas that are most harmful and most common. And then by the side, there's a note that I want to read to you that is beautiful. And it says, "And they lived happy ever after," is one of the most tragic sentences in literature. It is tragic because it is a falsehood. It is a myth that has led generations to expect something from marriage that is not possible. Now, let's go on. Now I'm about to read the plagues, some of the plagues of marriage. Number 1, we expect exactly the same things from marriage. That is, husband and wife expect exactly the same things from marriage. Everything good in our relationship will get better. That is one of the myths. They say that everything good in our relationship will get better. Everything bad in my life will disappear. They say that if it doesn't change in relationship, it's not going to change in marriage. My spouse will make me whole. If you are not whole as a single person, your spouse is not going to complete you. It's not your better half. You have to be whole before you enter into marriage. The goal of this chapter is to take the mythology out of marriage. The goal of this chapter is to take the mythology out of marriage. For too long, marriage has been saddled with unrealistic expectations and misguided assumptions. Liberated from these 4 myths, couples can settle into the real world of marriage with all its joys and sorrows, passion and pains. Now I've just been reading the intro, and now we're going to go into the number 1 myth, which is we expect exactly the same things from marriage. And now I read. What we anticipate seldom occurs. What we least expect generally happens, okay? Especially in marriage. Saying I do brings with it a host of conscious and unconscious expectations that weren't always fulfilled. Niall and Kathy are our case study. A couple in their late 20s and married for 4 years. Each had a clear image of what life together would be like, but they had never discussed their ideas. They, like most newlyweds, simply assumed the other had an identical picture of marriage in mind. Nothing, however, could have been further from the truth. I expected married Kathy here. I expected married life to bring more stability and predictability in our lifestyle. To me, it meant walking in the garden together. Now, I wanted our marriage to be exciting and spontaneous, not a whole home routine, okay? To me, it meant riding a motorcycle together. So, these two people had different view of what they thought marriage would be like. Okay, fine. They expected that they are going to do things together, but what kind of things are they going to be doing together? Both of them had different expectations of the kind of things that they're going to be doing together, right? As far back as early childhood, Niall and Kathy began dreaming of how married life would be. They grew up in homes where parents modeled married life. They read books describing love relationships. They watched television shows and movies depicting scenes from marriage like I did. For years, they had fantasized about life after crossing the threshold. Okay, with little efforts, each had formed an idea of what it would and should be like to live as a married couple. Consciously and unconsciously, Niall and Kathy painted brushstrokes on their mental marital canvases. But it never occurred to either of them that the other might be working from a different palette. They simply assumed their lifelong partner would work with complementary colors and in a similar style. The first year of marriage, however, revealed sharp and unexpected contrasts. This is where everybody eye clear. What Kathy thought of as security, Niall thought of as boring. They valued many of the same things, but with different level of intensity. Kathy painted carefully with delicate pastels, now painted boldly with primary colors. Okay. Most incongruous expectations fall into two major categories: unspoken rules and unconscious rules. Bringing both of them out into the open can save years of wear and tear on a young marriage. Okay?